Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Fallout New Vegas. We are back at the Crossroads save file that I made some time ago, where we're at the point of deciding which faction we're going to side with. So this is Alternate Universe C. So this time we are going to be doing the Legion version of things. So yeah, we're siding with the Legion this time, which is somewhat against my personal kind of moral compass, but you know, it is what it is. So we have got, I'm pretty sure we have got the platinum chip. Yeah, it's under T, obviously. Why would it be under T? But yeah, so we've got the platinum chip. We have dealt with Benny. We have assassinated Benny, so now everybody's like, yeah, come work for us, come work for us. So we are going to completely render onto Kaiser, and we're going to travel to Cottonwood Cove and go and meet the man himself. So Cottonwood Cove is... just a marker, thanks. So Cottonwood Cove, the fort's over here in the middle of the Colorado River, or on the other side of the Colorado River rather, overlooking the dam. So yeah, we're accepted by the NCR. That's not going to be for long. So I'm trying to think the best way. Probably to go to Novak and head south, because if we go to Wolfhorn Ranch, we're going to have to go through Camp Searchlight and deal with all the like rods and stuff there. But like before, I'll cut out most of the travelling unless something interesting happens. But I probably want to be using something a wee bit more effective than a machete. I'll keep the 10mm on. So yeah, we're heading directly to the southeast, so we'll just follow the road down and then kind of skirt around Searchlight, because that place is a wee bit on the dangerous side, just with all the radiation and the ghouls and the rad scorpions and... oh, there's Jeannie May Crawford. Yeah. Like, she deserves it. She sold a pregnant woman into slavery at the Legion, by the Legion. Oh, here we are. Dead Raider. I don't see, like, raiders very often. They're all called fiends. That's a bit strange. I've never seen... I don't really see raiders being mentioned much. They're all called fiends. Do have to be a wee bit careful around here, because there can be like golden geckos and stuff. And is that more dead bodies? Because there's kind of Clark Field is nearby, and that is very radioactive. Yes, are you a dead legionary? Yeah. Well, I'll take your money. Yeah, I thought it in the TV show, I thought it was kind of strange when Maximus had Thaddeus climbing up a tree looking for an apple, but because I was like, I didn't think there was any apples, but it turns out that yeah, there seems to be apples. I don't know what happened to these guys, but yeah, Clark Field is up there, and there is golden geckos around. But here we are. Welcome to Cottonwood Cove.
Halt!
Oh, Jesus.
What business have you in Cottonwood Cove, outsider?
Caesar wants to see me. I was invited.
You wear the mark of Kaiser.
Yes.
You must be who Cursor Lucullus is waiting for. You may continue, but be warned. Mark or no, we will not tolerate aggressive action by visitors in the camp.
Okay. Maybe you should be less aggressive then, buddy. I was talking. Rude. But yeah, we've got some heads on spikes. So, and we saw a couple of people crucified. and more of these. It seems that they've taken all the telephone poles they could find and adapted them. But yeah, so I believe pre-war this was a little like sort of holiday park, campsite, caravan, trailer park kind of a thing, because there is a little, you know, there's these little cabins, and then you've got Cottonwood Overlook, which is like a picnic site that's up there. So one thing that you can do if you want to work against the Legion, and if you do the quest for Camp Searchlight, is that you can suggest to Sergeant Astor to get revenge on the Legion, which starts an eye for an eye. So you can go up there, and that truck contains radioactive barrels, and you can go and open the back of it and let them all roll down into Cottonwood Cove, and that basically kills everybody here. So yeah, it's quite effective, although you should be careful, because there's another kind of side quest that's quite easy to miss if you don't know about it. Is these people here in this cage? This is the Weathers family minus the husband, father, Frank. So it's the mum and the two kids. Essentially, they're kind of adult kids, but they're her children. Are here as slaves, and he will ask you to go and find them, but they don't want anything to do with him because he's a horrible man apparently. But yeah, if you want to help them, do that before you irradiate this place. It doesn't seem to do you any damage, and it's fairly kind of, you know, it's like 1 rad per second, fairly standard if you come into the camp after doing that, but it's kind of scripted so that if you do that, everybody that lives here dies. So it's yeah, interesting. But yep, so here we are, and this is us on the river, the Colorado, and this is Cursor Lucullus. Funnily enough, he doesn't die if you do that, but if you do that and then you know, before you get the Mark of Caesar and you come here, he's still here, but he's standing there in a hazmat suit, which is quite funny. So, you know, because you can literally wipe out this entire camp and then still work for the Legion. But yeah.
Awe, are you ready to head upriver?
Yes. What'll happen?
You'll be meeting face to face with the mighty Caesar himself, founder of the Legion, conqueror of 86 tribes. To my knowledge, this is the first time Caesar has ever summoned one of the dissolute to see him. That it would be a woman is even more surprising.
So, yeah. And this is one thing about the Legion, because you'll notice when you're fighting the Legion or when you encounter them, they're all men. And when you go to the fort, there's a sort of gladiatorial, I can't speak, gladiatorial, there's an arena you can fight in, but you can't do that if you're a woman. So why are you surprised to see a woman receive this honor?
Women are physically and intellectually inferior to men. Their role is to bear children and ensure the survival of our species. Not to say that all women are equally incapable. I trust Caesar will find a worthy use for you.
See, that kind of sounds a bit more like I'm not sexist, but also it's 2281, pal. Can we get past the, you know, women bear children and men do all the work?
Take your place on the boat.
You know.
By order of Caesar, all visitors must disarm and relinquish all banned items. This order also extends to the platinum chip you carry. For now. That's
fine. Excuse the giant chin in the corner. But yeah, one thing that you can do at this point is say, what's a banned item?
Alcohol and all chems, including stims and other addictive items.
So, yeah, they will take all your chems off you, including stim packs, but you can say, I have a congenital heart defect. The response to this is also kind of same energy as what we just got from Cursor Lucullus.
I know not why Caesar would wish to speak with such a physically inferior whelp, but I will allow this one exception.
So he's
You
calling
may
me
bear
a
Caesar's mark,
weak
but do not
puppy,
attempt to share
basically.
any of your medicine with anyone in the fort.
I won't, that's fine.
Your belongings will be returned to you when you leave. Our way.
Yeah.
True to Caesar.
You know, physically inferior whelp. Whelp's another name for, like, a pup, basically, a puppy. So that's why when a dog's given birth, it's called whelping, if you didn't know. But yeah, so like they take all your stimpaks unless you do that speech check, but then they're just like, yeah, you're inferior, and it's really quite rude.
Our way. True to Caesar.
So, you know, it's interesting doing this as you know, playing as a female character, because they're like, I don't understand why Caesar's interested in working with you. You're a woman. What use are you? And it's nice to see that sexism is alive and well in the 23rd century. Like, come on, guys. Thought we were past all this. But yeah, you see the camp, you can see there's slaves who are being forced to be over encumbered, so obviously they can't run, which is interesting actually, because that seems like the old Brotherhood are prone to doing that as well with their initiates and their lower ranking recruits. I mean, they've got kids here dressed up already that are just like,
hello,
just generic child.
True to Kaiser.
Right. Hello. I think this is where we're supposed to be going. Yes. So this is the arena here. Oh, press the wrong button there. It's like, why am I not stopping? And then this is Otto, whose job it is to manage the arena. But, I'm female, unfortunately, so I'm not allowed to fight in the arena because sexism. Yeah. This is what are you doing? Are you tanning that, or is this just a really weird way of cooking that meat? I don't know. But yes, obviously you can tell which tent is Caesar's, so it's the one that is decorated the most fancy, obviously. So let's go and
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
no, you actually look exactly like Craig Boone. I mean, he wouldn't like you because you're a Legion, but you look very like him. But yeah, so this is the man himself. There's Lopez, Lucius. Hello.
So I finally get to meet the courier who's accomplished so much in so little time. That's why I summoned you here, right? I mean, a man nearly kills you, and your response is to track him across the breadth of the Mojave? You arrive on the strip and waltz into the Lucky 38 like someone left you a key under the doormat. You assassinate the head of the chairman in his own casino and get away with it? When you set your mind to something, you get results. I like that. The question is, are you ready to get started?
So, yeah. So we're gonna ask a few questions. So how do you know so much about me?
I have eyes and ears everywhere. It behooves me not to invade the West blind and deaf.
There's a word you
It
don't
hasn't
hear
been hard
very
to track
often.
your progress. It's not as though you've been keeping a low profile. The time is fast approaching when my Legion will assault the Great Dam and invade the West. Before that happens, I want Mr. House knocked out of the game. A quick 1-2 punch, with you doing the punching.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Down the hill, at the west edge of camp, is an old building. It was here when the fort was taken in 2277. Inside the building is a hatch. And inside that hatch are 2 steel doors that bear the sigil of the Lucky 38 casino. Now that same sigil is on the platinum chip you were carrying. Isn't that interesting? Even more interesting, there's a slot about the same size as the chip on the console that opens the hatch. So you know what I think? I think the platinum chip opens those doors. Doors that can't be pried open, or drilled open, or blasted open. Because all that, I tried.
Okay. Okay, and then what do you want me to do once I get inside?
I want you to destroy whatever you find in there. And then I want you to come back here and tell me about it.
Okay.
So go to the building and take this fucking platinum chip with you. My legionaries will meet you there, with your weapons and equipment. Goodbye.
Okay, so yep, he has obviously made an extremely astute observation
Some of the
and found
slaves have
that
been spreading stories about the burned man again.
you know, because basically once he gets, I'm guessing he doesn't figure that out, that the chip's important for that, unless, you know, you come here and then he gets a hold of it because it gets confiscated from you. And obviously he's made a real kind of smart guy connection that the platinum chip probably does something there, and he's not wrong. So yeah, the last two times we went through this, we used the chip to upgrade all the Securitrons. This time we're going to destroy them, so I am going to need yeah, to be careful. So when I get there they'll give me all my weapons back, which is good because we're going to be facing a bit of resistance.
Our way. True to Caesar.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, you're basically looking for the one building that's not a tent. Presumably the higher ranks get the nicer tents. But yeah, there's this building here which is
None may enter.
the weather monitoring
Caesar has
station.
permitted your weapons to be returned to you while you serve him.
Good, because
Caesar has put a lot of trust in you. Be worth it.
sure. Because there's
Some of the
something.
slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
Activate the console, put the chip in. I should probably equip a decent weapon. And maybe some better armor. Let's see. Let's put that on. Because yeah, we're going to be dealing with something particularly nasty. God, I really don't have ammo for most of these. Yeah, plasma pistol. But any weapon kits to make that better. Yeah, much better. Okay. Just I am being very careful because I know what's in here. There is also rads. Hello.
Well, this is where I wanted you to... It's a facility I built many years before you were born.
Okay. Right. We'll see.
I like to think you have enough sense.
There you go. So you can kind of skip ahead and so yeah, there's turrets, there's protectrons, and a radiation leak and stuff. Yeah, so you can kind of do this and then speak to House.
Attention. This is now a combat.
But yeah. So, I mean, it looks very much like a vault as well, so it's very likely that Vault Tech had a hand in, you know, building this place, but at least you get supplied with some pulse grenades and stuff, which is quite nice. And also plasma rifle, which I feel I got some ammo back for, which is nice. So I don't have enough science for the Tectrons that I can deactivate the turrets. Okay, it's definitely not anything that ends in ing. Again? Yeah. Three out of 8, so it could end in ing this time. Morning is close. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So let's cancel the security alert and turn off turrets. Unfortunately, sentry bots we can't. So we are going to have to fight them. This is where the Tectrons live. This door probably. Repair of 60. I don't know if I can do that. Actually, I've got a copy of fixing things, which I probably do. I do. Okay.
Do not interfere with security operations.
Okay, I'm not sure what that does for me. Attack this. Okay, that makes things much easier. Only the one that I'm fighting attacks me. Let's try monster! Oh crap, I ran out of ammo. Should also probably... Yeah, let's eat some apples. There we go. Right, I'm not going to get dogpiled by a bunch of angry Skeretrons anymore. Oh, and missiles actually, that'll be useful because we'll be going to deal with the boomers at some point. And that's a nice easy way to get a lot of boomers famous, to just give them missiles. You know, the boomers like their ordnance, so makes sense. Right, let's do a snap back. Just get that health back up. Actually, this gun seems to be really good, so... yep, so we're not going to dogpile by sentry bots anymore, so that's nice. Got sneak attack critical, but one just took one shot and this guy's just like, nope. Hello Skeretrons. Okay. Right, and the turrets don't care. There is more
hostile target detected.
Okay, this gun is not doing the job against you guys.
For your safety. For your safety. Drop your weapons and submit to authority.
Shut up.
Hostile target identified. Calculating chance of success. 20%. Please clear the area until order has been restored. Step into the open and identify yourself. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear.
Yeah, I know.
Scanning for hostiles. Hostile target identified.
Okay. How did I do that? Bye. One wait. You know what, I might actually just do a quick save, because I'm not sure if this works on an actual timer or not. I think it does. Really? Not the time game. That's could have waited. But sure. Yep, I'm gonna fail all the house always wins quests. But at least then we're gonna get dogpilled by sentry bots and I can just take that house house. Okay.
You've carried out Caesar's will, but I must confiscate your equipment again.
Okay.
You're free to leave.
Okay, have you left me around away? Yeah. There we go, so that's the Securitron army destroyed.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories.
Yeah, I know, the burned man. We will go and meet him eventually at some point on the channel. An interesting man, Joshua Graham. Okay, I made that go explode.
I felt the ground shake a while ago. I'll take that as a sign you've got the job done.
Trusting of you,
Let's
Caesar.
press on, shall we? As I was telling you before, I want Mr. House out of the picture. You have an interest in his death, too. If he knows that you destroyed his gadgets beneath the fort, he will strike back. You know where to find him. How he dies, I leave up to you.
Okay.
What did you want to know?
So yeah, at this point you can now ask a few questions about things. So tell me about your bodyguards.
My Praetorians embody the martial ideals of my legion. Each one of them has done enough conquering and killing to deserve the rank of Centurion. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. So the invitee chooses whichever current guard he thinks is weakest and challenges him. The fight is to the death. It keeps them from getting complacent.
So that's interesting. How long has Lucius, or Lucius, I don't know how you pronounce that in Latin.
Lucius has been the head of my guard for 5 years now. He was a subordinate guard for 8 before that. No invitee has dared to challenge him yet. Maybe it's an issue of respect. He is getting on in years.
Okay. Let's talk about something
What else did you want to know?
Tell me about Vulpes and Copa.
Vulpes is the best of my frumentari. A remarkable individual from an unremarkable tribe south of the Utah. He was brought into the Legion as a boy. Survived training. Fought well enough as a legionary to be promoted to the rank of Decanus. Then in battle against an unimportant tribe, he broke ranks and led his contubernium through a hole in their defenses to capture its chieftain. Well, his Centurion wanted him crucified for disobedience, so I made him a frumentari.
Okay, what do the frumentarii do?
Whatever I require. Infiltration, assassination, dramatic atrocities to break the spirit of the enemy, etc. They're mentally flexible. They operate behind enemy lines for extended periods, imitating the enemy's customs without becoming sullied. In all these things, Vulpes is a master.
Yeah, so essentially Vulpes is kind of like the sort of spy master and assassin kind of a thing, so yeah.
What else did
interesting.
you want to know?
What about Legate Lanius? And also it's very clear that this man has spent quite a lot of time learning Latin for all of this, but yeah, what about Legate Lanius?
Lanius is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Some might call him a great man, but I'm not sure he qualifies. Once, he was the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. Maniacal in battle. Sometimes he'd ambush Legion patrols by himself. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain raised a banner of surrender. The warrior, who was not yet Lanius, went insane with rage. He struck down his chieftain and attacked his own tribe.
Okay.
He killed 15 before they brought him down. He didn't die, obviously. I had him tended to. He was maimed, most of his face torn off. It was days before he regained consciousness. When he did, I went to his bedside and showed him the helmet I'd had forged to cover his face. I said he could have it if he'd fight for me. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males, and you have a deal.
Yeah, so this is one of the kind of versions of the backstory of Legate Lanius, where when his chieftain surrendered to the Legion, he went mad and started killing his own tribe, presumably because he was angry that they refused to fight. And then Caesar's basically like, okay, well, I'll give you this fancy helmet to hide your face that's been so badly damaged if you fight for me. So that's why it's kind of clear that Lanius isn't really, he's not loyal to the Legion, he's loyal to Caesar, and doesn't really care about the Legion or anything else. But yeah, he sounds more like a savage than a general.
Lanius is savage. Savagely loyal too, but only to me.
See?
He has no love for my Legion. But this has its uses. He has no attachment to his men, no compunction about battlefield losses. All he cares about is destroying the enemy. When another legatus or a centurion fails to achieve results, I send Lanius to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decimatio.
What is that?
It means decimation. But in ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
Sure. So it's yeah, pretty brutal. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, the ancient Romans, there's a long and bloody history there, but again, you know, using the history books as instruction manuals just does not go well. So Lanius will lead the assault on Hoover Dam.
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Lanius to drive the Legion forward, the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado.
Yeah. So why did the Legion lose the first battle?
It's not going to happen again, that's all I have to say about it.
Won't talk about it, but I've heard of the Burned Man.
And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar. Change the subject.
Okay.
What else did you want to know?
So yeah, you hear mention of the Burned Man. It was the previous legate who lost the battle, and that's Joshua Graham, called the Burned Man because Caesar punished him by setting him on fire and dropping him into the Grand Canyon. And he survived, so you meet Joshua Graham in Honest Hearts, but you can't really ask Caesar about it, certainly not at this point. He won't talk about it at all. So let's see, what else have we got here? What do you think of the NCR?
Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion's the same either way.
Well, let's hear it.
As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president?
I did.
Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
I mean, she was voted into office each time.
Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love. So things ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength.
I mean, this house kind of thinks the same, really, about the NCR and the sort of democracy in general, but, you know, the fact that Tandy was president for 52 years, that's a long, long time, you know, and in the US and real life, you know, there's a reason that the presidents are limited to 2 4-year terms, or 2 consecutive 4-year terms, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but, you know, because it's, yeah, I don't want to say too much and get too political on something like this, because it's, you know, things, the way things are happening across the world, but yeah, how's the NCR week?
Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt, accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good. It's not built to last. I'm just hastening the inevitable.
So again, you know, he's kind of pointing out what we are hearing, that, you know, Shady Sands and the NCR is not some blissful utopia where everything's perfect and everybody's happy and it's all wonderful, that there's, you know, bribery and corruption and all these kind of things that make the place politically unstable. So again, it's not surprising that after the events of this game, things maybe fell apart a bit for the NCR, and then when Shady Sands got nuked, that was probably the kind of last nail in the coffin, so to speak. I mean, we'll see, I guess, what we learn in season 2 of the TV show, but again, this is it here, and this is, I mean, so the way he's talking, he came from NCR, he came from that region, and he's seeing that the weaknesses in the NCR, and this is why he's kind of moving that direction to take over, because he firmly believes that his way is better. So yeah, that's an interesting one. But NCR, powerful foe.
Of course. The most powerful my legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed. Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted. Enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado.
Yeah, so he's just emulating the
What else did you want to know?
Roman Empire. So what do you know about House?
I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way.
I mean, he's kind of both, but sure.
What else did you want to know?
What role will regional powers play?
I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me.
Yeah, so he's not going to tell us much just now until...
What else did you want to know?
We basically earn trust. How did you rise to power?
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself, a citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
So, yep, he was a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse.
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the wastes. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
A little bit. So how did you end up becoming a dictator?
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Why do you say that?
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse. Or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me, but before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch, but the real problem was they didn't know how to fight. The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
Like what?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
So this is kind of where all this came from, because being raised in the library, the followers of the apocalypse, he read a lot because they were presumably trying to you know, kind of retain as much old world knowledge and things as possible, which the Brotherhood and the Capital Wasteland are doing something similar. That's why they're at the big library there, you know, and it's interesting because it obviously kind of parodies the Great Library of Alexandria a little bit as well, but the fact that, you know, because Caesar, you know, he's quite narcissistic, but he's also very intelligent, that he, you know, he obviously knows his Latin and he pronounces his Latin properly, and he's obviously read a lot about the Roman Empire and about Caesar and about everything, and you know, he's talking about the tribals like they're just barbarians, you know, and it's yeah, it's interesting. So what happened after you trained them?
Divide et impera, divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books. Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me, back west with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
Okay, and you've just conquered other tribes.
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my legion will have its Rome.
Yep, so that's his plan. You know, he's taken over most of Utah, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, which is a lot of territory. You know, it's a lot of territory. but he's decided that Vegas is going to be his Rome. That's going to be his capital, and that's the goal.
What else did you want to know?
So, why is Caesar's Legion so strange?
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my Legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America. The infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana.
What does that mean?
It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all cost. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production.
Yeah, so, I mean, he explains it all pretty well, to be fair. So you're going to destroy the NCR because you hate the inefficiencies?
No. I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
What does that mean?
How do I put this basically? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books. The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis. Thesis and antithesis. The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas.
Okay.
The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero. The NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic. Extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The Colorado River is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well. From a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator.
There we go.
What else did you want to know?
I think that's pretty much everything, other than asking about the machine in his tent, but that's...
What else then?
Yeah, the machine in his tent's an auto-dock. We'll get to that later on, so I'll get rid of the house.
Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
Sure thing. So, yep, time to get rid of Mr. House. So let's head back to the shrimp. Oh. Every time. That's so funny. Okay, well the Skeletrons aren't attacking me yet, so that's good. I feel like things might not go so well when we actually go inside here, so let me get some kind of equipment ready.
Searching.
Do your mind, sir. killed. Okay. So, yep. Unsurprisingly, Mr. House is not happy with us at the moment. So, yeah. You'd think, though, that he would have the sense to lock the bloody door. Oh, Scarecrow trying to end it on top of the slot machines. You know, like, if he really want... anyway. Maybe he's realised that he can't actually prevent what's going to happen. I'm about to die. You know what? Let's that seems to be quite effective. Well, I don't actually have a lot of ammo for it, but wait, is that my blood? Jane. Yeah, funnily enough, House is not on his big screen. Want to speak to me. Yeah. But yeah, if you've got platinum chip, you can just open this door. If you don't have the chip yet, you need 75. I can do it too. See, this is the thing, because I'm not doing like all the side quests and stuff, I'm probably at a much lower level than I really should be for this, but never mind. We're getting through it. All the others are... I should have brought a golf club, never mind. Yeah, like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Let's go. Right, unseal the life support chamber. I know there's an infection risk, but that's okay because don't have to worry about infection when you're gonna die. There he is.
Why have you done this? Centuries of preparation. So much good undone.
By Caesar's command, you will die.
Slavery! The future of mankind. What have you done?
Time to die.
May there be a hell for you. A Tartarus, bleak, unending.
Yep, I know he won't speak to you. It has nothing to say. But I'm not gonna. Let's just use something.
Nothing to say to you.
Sorry, Housey. So, yep, as soon as we kill him, we get a tragedy has befallen all of mankind. Which is his pre-written obituary. Let's walk again. Let's see, speech. Should probably keep it up. Energy weapons, because I'm start to use energy weapons, that's probably a good idea. Cool. Oh, perk level. Fun. Let's see. Finesse is good. Yeah. So the house has gone bust, which we failed before the quest got added, but yeah. So yeah, the house has basically pre-prepared an obituary, which I'm pretty sure I read out when we did the Yes Man route, so I don't think it's any different. But yeah, he basically pre-prepared this, made sure that it would automatically insert the correct age for him for whenever it happened. And this gets broadcast out to other people as well. So, yep, he was sure by 2065 that an atomic war was going to happen, and he was right. And then there's Reno at the end to finish it up later, because he doesn't think he's going to need it anytime soon, and he doesn't think that anybody that might come across it would even know how to read. So, you know, I mean, in some ways House and Caesar are quite similar, that they believe that, you know, their solution is the best solution, and that their leadership is the only hope for humanity, and if people would just fall in line with them, everything would be perfect. And the problem with that is that when you start, oh gosh, look at, see, I mean, he's like, go and read a book. I mean, look at this, all these books that have just been completely trashed. Oh well, I guess I'm not going to be reading any books. Right, can I get into the elevator, please, guys? Yeah. Right, casino. So, yep, that is Mr. House dead. And his Securitron army is destroyed, so the house is out of the picture now. I think the Securitrons don't really care outside of the Lucky 38, they just kind of stick to their normal security business. So now I need to go back to, can I just fast travel to the fort? Yeah. I think it just assumes that you go to Cottonwood Cove.
By order of Caesar, all visitors...
Yeah.
Your belongings will be... Awe.
Awe. Yeah. I think it just assumes that you go the normal way. I mean, there is a merchant. There's this guy. He's a merchant, but he doesn't sell any weapons or chems. I mean, if you really want a weapon, if you want to kind of get in here and then just go on a rampage, if you sneak into this, sort of the tents, the footlockers, there's a bunch of stuff in there belonging to obviously the legionaries, so you do have the option of
True to Kaiser.
True to Kaiser. Yeah. I mean, you do have the option of finding some weapons dotted about if you so wish, like in here. I mean, it's stealing, but you know, it's quite easy to hide inside the tents and stuff.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
Right. Hello.
I've read Mr. House's obituary. Had a high opinion of himself, didn't he? With Mr. House out of the way, I can focus on smoothing out a few lingering complications elsewhere in the Mojave. First up are the boomers of Nellis Air Force Base, a tribe so reclusive it lobs artillery shells at anyone who comes near their settlement. I want you to offer them an alliance with my Legion. My terms are simple. Target their guns against the NCR side of the dam when I assault it, and they can keep their freedom. If you find they aren't amenable to this offer, destroy them.
Okay. I don't know if I can.
Even with the boom.
Okay, no.
What
else? Right. That's enough questions.
What else then?
Right. I'm going to go and
Good.
do the boomers.
Your first challenge will be to reach their settlement without getting blown up. After that, it should be easy.
Well, now accepted by Caesar's Legion, which I have to say does not feel great, but here we are. We need to cover all sides of the story, so we have to deal with
Some
this.
of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
Yeah, so everybody keeps saying, you guys should come up with some better lines. I mean, it's getting as bad as patrolling the Mojave, which makes you wish for a nuclear winter at this point, but yeah, so it does not feel great to be accepted by Caesar's Legion, but here we are. That's part and parcel of it, and it is.
Some
I mean,
of the
Caesar
slaves
is
have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
I don't care about the burned man. We're not doing honest hearts at this point in time. But I mean, Caesar is a very intelligent man. He's well read, obviously, and he has clearly been inspired by the history books. And as I said, I'm not sure that people using the history textbooks as an instruction manual tends to go well. But he's clearly decided that the Roman Empire is the way to go. I mean, to be fair, I think, you know, when they got to Britain, it was us that gave them pause, to the point where, you know, good old Hadrian built a wall to keep the Scots out. So, you know, it's but yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I mean, look, yeah, he's just fully embracing it, but not just in kind of appearance and things, and the fact that, you know, all these guys have Latin names and further ranks and everything. Like, you know, he is running the Legion very much like the Romans did as well, and he believes that that's the best way. And it's the same for all these kind of political leaders and, you know, people that would be presidents and you know, emperors and whatever, is that they always believe that they're the ones that are right, they're the ones that know what's best for the people and not anybody else. And this is kind of where we get stuck. You know, we were just a delivery, you know, doing a delivery job, and then the next thing, you know, a few days later you're kind of embroiled in a battle for who gets to rule Vegas and the Mojave. And you've got these very, very different kind of ideologies and very, very different sides of the coin that you need to then decide who you think is right, and you know, kind of pick a side. And I mean, for me, the Legion just doesn't feel good because, you know, it's like, okay, everybody's kind of on an equal footing in some respect, but you know, it's ruling through fear and it's ruling through brutality, which you know, I just don't think it's really, it's just not the way to go. And you know, the fact that like they punish them and they line them up, and then every 10th man has to step forward and get beaten to death by...
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about,
you know,
the burn
it's pretty nasty, but it's obviously something that he's decided that works. And they've assimilated all these tribes with the intention of then, you know, taking over the dam, taking over this area, and he wants to set up New Vegas as his Rome, as his capital city, and yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. So next up we're going to have to make the mad dash up to Nellis Air Force Base once again.
True to Kaiser.
Maybe I should have gone there and then made this crossroads safe, because it's a pain in the backside to run across and try not get blown to bits, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that's us kind of started down the Legion pathway, which should be interesting. Certainly uncomfortable. I just don't like, you know, the Legion are definitely the kind of bad guys in terms of sort of morals and ethics and things, in my opinion. So but you know, it's a role-playing game where we're playing the role of being on the side of the Legion, even if they won't let me fight in the arena. Because I'm a woman, and apparently that means that, anyway, yeah, we don't like the casual sexism, to be honest, but it's interesting. And I say you can really spend a lot of time talking to Caesar and learning a lot about him and his philosophies and things, and you know, it's interesting to kind of get to know him, because he's not stupid, he's clearly very intelligent, very well read. He wouldn't have been as successful as this to take over, you know, I mean, that's what, 4 states mostly under his control, and you know, 4 states that are not that small in terms of, you know, sort of area. Utah is pretty big, if I remember rightly from the map. Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and it seems that it just makes sense that next on the list would be Nevada, would be Vegas, and then he would obviously tend to probably push further in and take over California as well. But yeah, so hopefully this has been interesting. I'm kind of getting the hang of the video editing and things a bit better now. I think it's still all quite new to me, so I'm learning with every video that I upload, and I've had a lot of great feedback and stuff on the Science of Fallout series, so that is definitely going to be continuing. And we are going to get into the Caesar's Legion side of things, and then we'll do the NCR route, and that'll be us done with New Vegas. And afterwards we'll have an in-depth chat, I think, about the story overall, and what I think is good, what I think is maybe not so good, and you know, the kind of strengths and weaknesses and things, and the interesting kind of side of all of this for this story, because it is, I mean, it's the one thing that everybody says is so great about Fallout New Vegas, because it's true, is that this game, more than pretty much any RPG I've ever played, really, oh shut up about the burn man, you know, really gives you that freedom of choice to make the story what you want it to be. And there's very few games that have done that quite so successfully as this game, so that'll be interesting. But that's me for now, from the fort, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.